Hey guys, I'm here with a good friend of mine, John St. George, owner of Phoenix Carpet Water Restoration, home of the Spot Crew. John, tell us a little bit about your company.
Thanks, Logan. We are a locally owned carpet, tile, upholstery, and oriental rug cleaning company here in the Valley. We're happy to celebrate our 5-year anniversary, and we're giving 25% off to all new customers to call in at 602-319-8446.
So that phone number again, 602-319-8446, 602-319-8446. Call my buddy John for a free estimate today. Tell him Logan sent you.
Welcome to Lifeness with Logan Hall. It's life, it's business, it's Lifeness. Live from the StriveVenta.com studios, here's Logan Hall.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning into Lifeness. I'm your host, Logan Hall, and you are listening to Lifeness. Thank you very much to all our listeners out there. We really do appreciate it. You know, today's going to be a different type of a fun show. We don't have a guest in here. It's just me, myself, and I. We're kind of get to know what Lifeness is all about. And what really Lifeness encompasses is your wins and losses in life, the challenges that you face, the difficulties, the obstacles, and how you overcome them, and what you learn from them, and how you can grow and share that with people along the way. And all the while maintaining and making sure that you're positive, smart, and real. And that's what we're all about here on the show, is staying positive, talking about smart things, and making sure that it's real and applies to our life. So let's get into it. What is Lifeness? You know what, again, it goes back to, I think you have to fail before you succeed. Every person out there that is a success story didn't get there on their first try. You know, let's talk about Abraham Lincoln. You know, he had a lot of challenges, a lot of losses. Then all of a sudden he gets elected to president, probably the worst time in the history of the United States. With slavery and everything else going on. He's got a wife who's not acting sensibly. And he's got so many things being thrown at him. But this guy was smart, he was positive, and he was real. And he had the perseverance to maintain and get through that and change the face of history for the world forever. You know, if he'd have thrown the towel in because it hadn't learned from his past experiences when he had lost and made some mistakes and things didn't go the way he had planned, we would not be where we're at today. And that's a great example of being positive, being smart, and being real. And you know what, you guys? We've got one life to live. I know it sounds kind of cheesy. It's a soap opera my mom used to watch, but it's very true. There's one life to live. We've got one crack at this, you guys, and you got to make the most of it. It could be a very short run. It could be a very long run. You don't know that. But what you do know is that you've got today and you got to make the most of it. So, you know, I like to share some of my personal stuff with you guys so you get to know who I am and more so the things that I've been through and the challenges I've faced. You know, a couple little things like this. So, you know, right out of the chute, right out of birth, I was born with a dislocated hip. You know, I've had health problems. I've broken 11 bones in my body. In 8th grade, I broke my wrist, got my cast off, waited my 2 weeks, got back to my first wrestling practice, super excited, and broke my thumb my first wrestling practice back. You know, that was a challenge to try to overcome. I also remember growing up as a very small, skinny, high-pitched kid who didn't hit puberty till I was like a sophomore in high school. I was on a 3-way phone call with a friend of mine in junior high. He called this girl I liked, and he's talking to her. And then I finally decided to talk and say hello. And she goes, "Is that another girl on the line?" I hadn't hit puberty. I was faced with being a small, skinny, high-pitched kid for a very long time. I also ran for student council president in junior high and lost. That was a tough one to swallow. You know, there's been a lot of things that I've faced. Varsity baseball, I decided to tell my coach what I thought of him my junior year, and that got me a lot of time on the bench. It was a mistake I made there. You know, I've had financial highs and lows. I've faced challenges in my family with addiction. I've lost family members because of addiction. You know, I'm a real person, you guys. I've been through so many challenges, just like everyone else out there. I'm not different. I'm not special. But you know what I try to do is I try to look upon each one of these challenges and obstacles I've faced and I've overcome, and what's the bright side to it? What's the silver lining in that cloud? What's the glass is half full mentality of this, and what can I learn from it? And how can I apply that to the next challenge that I face? We all face challenges. all day, every day. Little, big, catastrophic. How do we deal with those? How do we persevere through those? And how do we try to shed light on the positive side of things? That's lifeness. That's the life side of it, you guys. And I sincerely do believe that you have to fail before you succeed. And sure, I've had a lot of accomplishments and a lot of successful endeavors, but probably not as many failures as many failures as I've had. I've had a lot more failures than successful things and accomplishments, you guys, and that's life. And that's lifeness. And getting through life and keeping your head up and your chin up and making sure that you live to see the next day, because every day is a good day. Some days are better than ever, but every day is a good day. When we're here, we got family, we got friends, and we got the big man upstairs guiding us in the right direction and making sure that we've got enough to get through what we need to get through. So that's kind of our first intro into the life portion of lifeness, and we're going to have some more episodes on getting more into the life side of it, but kind of a quick snapshot of the life side of lifeness. Now we're going to talk about the business side of lifeness, you guys, and it's not only if you're a business owner and you've got 500 employees. It can be every single one of who's got a 9-to-5 job. We're a school teacher. We work at the factory. We work at the restaurant. We work, downtown at the office building for the big corporation. How do we face these challenges when maybe there's layoffs that are coming, or there's some coworkers that we don't get along with? Or how about that boss that we don't like, that doesn't acknowledge our hard work and is always asking for the TPS reports? What about that? How do we get through those challenges? How do we get to work on time and get there with full of energy to make sure that we can put in a full work day? How do we get through maybe starting a business or starting a service, some sort of an idea that we have? We've had great people on the show such as Austin Hill. I call him the guru of small business. I've had a lot of small business endeavors that have failed. Here's kind of a list of them. My first 2 jobs right out of college, I got this degree. I'm fresh. I go on these interviews. I see this one online. I think it was on monster.com, and had this real luscious description of a high-level marketing position. I get there in my 3-piece suit, and, we have our debriefing, and I go with this guy in his car who's going to show me, and we stop at the gas station, and he changes into tennis shoes, gym shorts, and a T-shirt, because we're going door-to-door selling water coolers. That was a failure. Other things along the way. I had a really good job right out of college. My first real job after this, I was a loan officer. I became the director of sales for a very successful company. We were actually a Fortune 200 company. And then all of a sudden that bubble popped. The real estate market went south. My good times, these big fat paychecks, these awesome trips and everything, gone. During that, I decided to buy an Italian restaurant with one of my best friends. 24 years old, I have a full-time job, and I'm going to go buy a restaurant? Yeah, that didn't work out so well. Fortunately, we were able to sell it and make a little bit of a profit. But I'll tell you what, that was a living lesson. That was a challenge. The takeaway from that is if you're going to own a restaurant or an establishment, food and beverage, it's best to do it as a hobby and not as an income, as a job. Because when you got to maintain on people coming in and eating your restaurant to keep the lights on and food on the table for your family, that's a challenge, and that's why 90% plus of restaurants fail, because they don't have the capital put up. I learned from that. I also decided to try to become a real estate mogul in the mid and early 2000s, and when the bubble burst, I got caught with a lot of real estate. I'll also admit, I had to claim a bankruptcy, you guys. I have faced some serious financial challenges in my business side of it. I almost bought into some racehorses. Are you kidding me? I did buy into a pyramid scheme. I stroked a $5,000 check on something that was supposed to give me a tenfold return in less than 60 days, and 30 days later, my money was gone. I mean, it's these things that we lose at, you guys. It's not these wins like, oh, I had this great idea and, I made all this money. You didn't do that on your first try. I can guarantee it. Let's kind of talk about Apple in perspective, right? They had this long-term vision, and, Steve Jobs, real smart guy, but he's thinking so far out of the box. It took a long time for the general public to catch up to it. And at the same time, you got Microsoft and Bill Gates just dominating market share. You know what? Steve Jobs, Apple, Mac, they didn't give up. They believed in their vision. They knew it was going to take some time. And look at what happened over the last 5 to 10 years. Apple is the most dominant name in technology in the world. When 10 years ago it looked like Microsoft was about to squash them and put them out of business. You know, you guys, you gotta persevere. You gotta have fortitude. You gotta have thick skin. You got to be able to challenge, face these challenges head on and get through them. You know, how about times when we lose someone special in our life? We've all lost someone special. Maybe it was that grandma or grandpa or, mom or dad or a spouse or a sibling or a coach or a teacher or a mentor. Initially that's a real tough situation. But, if you focus on the positives and the bright things that person had accomplished and the memories that you've made with that person, and you continue to share their legacy and the stories about that great-grandfather that, taught you how to play baseball or taught you everything about baseball, or that mom or that grandma who really took you under your wing and showed you how to become a woman. And, these special people in our lives, when we lose them, let's not dwell upon the sadness of it. When you go to a funeral or a memorial service, it should be a celebration. It should be 100% a celebration. We recently had a friend named Marvin pass away a couple months ago, and at his deal, it was a celebration. It was a barbecue. It was beer drinking. It was, let's remember all the good things about this person, and let's celebrate that person's life rather than being in a mourning and in a sadness, you guys. There's a lot of different things. Where I am now from where I've came, where you are now from where you've came, and where we're going. It's all about integrity. It's all about ethics, and business absolutely is that. Our job is to serve our boss and then to serve our customers. That's what we get paid to do. Sometimes we don't like it. Sometimes we don't like the people we're dealing with. In my job as a realtor, not everybody's nice to work with. But everybody needs a place to live, and they deserve a fair shot, and they deserve my great customer service and my passion in buying a home. Such with everyone else out there in your jobs and when you're giving back and anything that you guys do. There's a rapper that says, started from the bottom, now we're here. And that's life, and that's lifeness, and that's business. You got to forge on. I've had some successful businesses. Let's not get me wrong. I had a lawn service when I was in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. I made a bunch of money and got to buy some cool Michael Jordan shoes. I'm excelling very well at Century 21 Northwest, and that's very, very much fulfilling me because I'm bringing on brand new agents who are producing and providing a better life for their families, and that hits home, you guys. That's why we're here, is to try to help people out. And, that's the business side of it, you guys. We've all bought into things and thought we had a get-rich-quick scheme or this $1 million idea, or we took this job we thought was going to be the cure-all for everything. And a lot of times, you guys, that grass isn't nearly as green as it's portrayed to be. And what happens when you get over there and that grass is brown, and sometimes that grass dies? You got to find some other grass to plant and water and get it green. You can't just stand there in your dead grass. And that's the business side of it, you guys. Persevere, get through, learn from your mistakes, your challenges. I think everybody's been through some sort of a business endeavor or a job that they had that they thought it was really going to be this great job and provide all these doors and these opportunities, and it was quite the contrary. And what do we learn from those things, you guys? And then the last part of it, what is lifeness? What happens when you blend the life and business? And my wife and I were talking about it last night, and I think that the overall consensus is lifeness is about achieving a balance. Lifeness is life. It's business. It's lifeness. Lifeness is 8 words. It's split into 4 words. Life and ness. It's split 50-50. That's balance. You got to have balance in your life. You got to have balance with your family. You got to have balance with your job. You got to have balance with your church. You got to have balance with your community. And it's not always as easy as you'd like it to be to juggle all of these things and be excelling in all of them all of the time and making everybody happy. How can you go and be donating 3 hours of your time a day to charity or community and then still be providing an income and an earning for your family, but also providing love and care and compassion as a father or a mother? Are you getting home and spending 3 hours with your family? Are you spending all your time with other people and not bringing it home? Or are you one of those workaholics who works 12